The Lone Star State gets a little lonelier as Nebraska takes top honors for cattle feeding. Cattlemen celebrate big things in the beef state. We grow deeper. Plus, a Nebraska lawmaker thinks he's found the sure bet for tax relief, and Nebraska farmers buy into projects that protect the water. This week on Grow. Move over Texas, the Huskers knock off the Longhorns. This battle not on the field, but in the feedlot. The beef industry in the beef state has a lot to celebrate. NTV's Valerie Juarez reports.
No state feeds more cattle than Nebraska, and Saturday night the South Central Nebraska Cattlemen's Banquet celebrating that and much more. Nebraska, once again the leader in cattle on feed.
I will say it's friendly competition. At the same time, we like holding that title.
The state recently beating one of its biggest competitors.
So we certainly have top cattle feeding states in the United States, and oftentimes there are a couple of us battling back and forth for who is number one for cattle on feed at the time, and Nebraska recently overtook Texas again in that regard.
Ken Hurst, Nebraska Cattlemen's vice president, crediting success to the great characteristics that make up our state.
You know, Nebraska is just a perfect place for feeding cattle and for the cattle industry. We have the right climate, we have the right resources, we have the people for the job.
Not only does it have that, but Nebraska rancher Don Cadwell saying Nebraska also has a great water supply.
So we have the epicenter of beef in the whole world right here in Nebraska.
And let's not forget, we are known as a Cornhusker state for a reason.
We have a great corn supply, we have ethanol, so we can use the distillers grains from the ethanol plants, and finally we have the packing plants.
USDA numbers show that Nebraska had 2.55 million cattle in feedlots, ahead of Texas with 2.51 million. This out of the nearly 7 million cattle in our state.
Thanks, Valerie. No state feeds more cattle than Nebraska, and Governor Pete Ricketts wants to grow exports to countries like China, but he also wants to diversify.
Bring the eggs truck inside the bed.
Agriculture is crops and livestock, but it's also high-tech genetics, producing better birds that will lay better eggs.
Is this an exciting day or what?
Governor Pete Ricketts hopes for more celebrations like this when a hatchery opened in Grand Island.
I think that you're going to see more opportunities like that, especially when it comes to poultry, because we don't have a huge poultry industry, but we've got the opportunity to grow it even bigger.
Diversification is a key theme of the 30th annual Governor's Egg Conference coming soon in Kearney, encouraging farmers to expand in areas like poultry.
And that, of course, allows them to diversify their revenue stream. It allows them to build equity. It allows them to bring back young people into agriculture. So we want to seek more opportunities like that.
The longest-serving state egg director in Nebraska history will return as Undersecretary of the USDA, Greg Ibaugh, gives the keynote address.
We had a little bit of an try-track in getting him back here, but I'm very excited to have him back here in Nebraska to be able to hear about what he's been doing in Washington, D.C.
His successor, Steve Wellman, understands times are tough.
Generations of Nebraska farmers have been resilient, and obviously to continue their operations and hand them down from one generation to the next.
Wellman agrees with the governor that growing livestock expands opportunities.
If we can process them in any way, that surely is an advantage to bringing value to Nebraska. And then, of course, the biggest value is running those commodities through the livestock sector.
Soybean growers see firsthand how Nebraska beans create opportunities underwater. Nebraska soybean board members and staff recently attended an aquaculture event in Mexico. They learned how American soybeans are incorporated into fish diets and feed additives. They say as consumer demand for seafood rises, so does the need for farm-fed fish. And soybean meal is a quality protein source. And if you enjoy fish, add a fish fry. The soybean board can help you there too with high oleic oil. Watch for more on that coming this Lenten season. Would you support gambling if it lowered your property taxes? Here's more from the Capitol.
Property tax is the #1 issue.
A farmer squirms in his seat.
Shifting gears on me here, Senator Larson.
Asked if he'd support gambling if it brought tax relief.
shouldn't that be something that we consider?
Senator Tyson Larson thinks so. He wants to legalize poker, blackjack, slots, and other games of chance, estimating it would raise $300 to $400 million a year.
Has 98% of their money going to property tax relief.
Pat Lunger, the grandma who runs Gambling with the Good Life, says it's a bad way to raise revenue.
Do the important things and not add another addiction to the problems that we're facing in the state.
She points out Nebraskans have voted twice defeating gambling. Larson says attitudes have changed.
I know in my district, the voters overwhelmingly supported, as I've polled it, at nearly 65–70% support gaming in the state of Nebraska.
Gambling with the Good Life says every dollar gained costs 3 times that in social costs.
Any money that is spent in a casino or in a slot machine is not money that's spent on Main Street. It's not money that's putting clothes on the back of the children or making the house payment.
Larson argues Nebraska pays that price now. He says 90% of Nebraskans live within 100 miles of a casino. He says the state has the social ills, although he thinks the numbers are overstated without benefiting from the income, which is why he challenges rural lawmakers who say they'd do anything to bring tax relief to farmers and ranchers.
Property taxes really aren't their number one issue. They'd rather dictate to the people what they can and cannot do, and their morality of gambling trumps lowering property taxes, which I think is a real shame.
So how do you feel about this proposal? Let's look at the poll results. Looks like many are on board with Senator Larson's proposal. The vast majority responding to our non-scientific polls say they would support expanded gambling if it put money directly to property tax relief. You may hear folks buzz about the Internet of Things. What does that mean on the farm? Details next.